Ever launch into like a passionate explanation about something only to realize that the other person's eyes glazed over like ages ago?
Oh, yeah.
And that today's deep dive is kind of your secret weapon to avoid that.
Okay.
It's power questions.
Yeah.
We're diving into the book by Sobel and Panas.
Right.
And we're trying to extract like the juiciest bits on how the right questions can make you like a conversational ninja.
Yeah, and it's not about like, interrogation techniques or anything.
Right.
It's about crafting these insightful queries that unlock deeper conversations.
Yeah.
Whether it's closing a deal or just clicking with someone new.
I like that.
Yeah.
So the book makes a pretty bold claim.
Okay.
Good questions actually beat easy answers.
Yeah.
So what makes them so potent?
Well, I mean, think about it this way. A good question disrupts autopilot.
Okay.
It forces you to challenge assumptions and, uncover hidden motives, maybe even like find an innovative solution that you'd never seen otherwise.
That's like that light bulb moment when someone reframes a problem that you've been wrestling with.
Right.
And suddenly, boom, like a new path appears.
Exactly.
And their book actually opens with kind of a painful example of this.
Okay.
So picture a consultant who's like raring to impress a potential client,
Okay.
right? And instead of like drawing the client out, they unleash a 30-minute monologue about their company's greatness.
Oh, no.
And by the time they come up for air, the client's checking their watch, completely switched off.
Yeah, you've lost them at that point.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Talk about missing the mark. They were so busy showcasing expertise that they forgot to actually listen.
Precisely. That's where the magic of these, the right HT questions come in.
Right.
Sobel and Panas give a contrasting example.
Really?
Another consultant, same scenario. But when asked to talk about their firm, they hit back with,
Okay.
what would you like to know about us?
Ooh, smart move.
Yeah.
Talk about flipping the script.
Exactly.
So instead of a one-sided pitch, it becomes a dialogue.
Exactly. The client lights up, shares their needs,
Right.
and the consultant can tailor their responses.
Okay.
They start building a genuine connection from there.
I like it.
Yeah, and it highlights, something crucial that Sobel and Panas call, the 4 conditions of yes.
Okay.
Essentially for someone to buy into anything, whether it's a product, idea, even a date.
Okay.
These 4 things need to be in place.
Okay. I'm all ears laid on me.
So first, there has to be a problem or opportunity that resonates.
Okay.
Now that sounds obvious, but you'd be amazed how often it's missed.
Yeah, trying to solve an issue that someone doesn't even realize they have, that's like a non-starter.
Exactly. The second is ownership.
Yeah.
The person needs to feel empowered to do something about it.
Okay.
Think of those times when you knew something was off, but you just felt powerless to change it. Maybe from past failures or just lack of resources.
Like hitting a brick wall.
Exactly.
No matter how good the solution is,
Yeah.
if someone feels helpless, they won't budge.
Exactly. The third is dissatisfaction. Not in a negative way, but a healthy dose of, this isn't good enough, I want better.
Yeah.
If they're content, there's zero motivation to change.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it
Right.
mentality.
Right.
But sometimes we need that push from discomfort
Yeah.
to actually take action.
Precisely.
Right.
Which leads us to the most crucial condition,
Okay.
trust.
Okay.
Whether it's in the person, their company, the product, whatever it is.
Right.
Without that belief that they're the right fit, the deal's off.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you use a pretty dramatic example to illustrate this, right?
Yeah.
The Dubai Ports World situation.
Yes. Even with a sound business deal on the table, the lack of trust ultimately tanked the acquisition.
Wow.
It goes to show you can have a fantastic solution, but if trust is shaky, everything crumbles.
That's a stark reminder.
Yeah.
That trust is like the bedrock of any successful interaction, whether it's business or personal.
It really is.
So missing even one of these conditions
Yeah.
is like building on shaky ground.
It is, yeah. Like a table with a wobbly leg, it's not gonna hold.
Yeah, totally. So we've laid the groundwork. Good questions are key. And those 4 conditions need a green light.
Right.
Now, let's get practical.
Okay.
What are some of those killer power questions that can instantly elevate a conversation?
Well, Sobel and Panas, offer a treasure trove of these.
Of course.
But let's just spotlight a few gems. So in a professional setting, try. How did you get started?
See, even hearing that, it just pulls you in.
Right.
It's so much more interesting than tell me about your work.
Right.
Why is that so effective?
Well, because it invites a story.
Yeah.
It's a glimpse into their journey.
Right.
It's not just a job title.
Oh, you're right.
You're going to uncover passions, motivations, values, things that build real rapport.
Yeah.
I actually used this at a networking event once.
You okay?
And the person lit up, as they talked about, like their first lemonade stand,
Cute.
which then snowballed into their current passion for sustainable business. I had no idea.
It's like those How I Built This podcasts.
Right.
Everyone's got a fascinating origin story.
Exactly.
And it just primes the pump for a genuine connection. Right?
Yeah.
Not just transactional chit-chat.
Yeah.
Now, some of these power questions are about course correction.
Okay.
Like, do you mind if we start over?
Yeah.
That takes guts. When would you pull that one out?
Well, it's a lifesaver when a conversation goes off the rails, which we've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, things get tense, misunderstandings pile up. This acknowledges the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
It creates space for a reset,
Yeah.
and it shows humility, which I think is really important.
Yeah, instead of powering through the awkwardness, you hit the reset button.
Exactly.
I imagine that's especially useful in, like, high-stakes conversations. Maybe a negotiation where emotions are running high.
For sure.
Okay. Speaking of, like, digging deeper,
Okay.
what in your life has given you the greatest fulfillment?
Yeah.
That's getting personal in a good way.
It is, but it cuts through the surface chatter. People know that you're genuinely interested.
Yeah.
You're not just going through the motion.
Right.
It reveals what truly matters to them, their core values. And surprisingly, it often circles back to their work.
Interesting.
In a new light, it reveals what really drives them.
It's almost like a mini therapy session.
Oh, yeah.
But in a way that feels very natural and appropriate for whatever context you're in.
Right. Exactly.
Now, not all power questions are softballs.
Right.
Is this the best you can do?
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be used strategically.
It does. It's high impact. So you got to reserve it for situations demanding peak performance.
Yeah.
It's not about being harsh.
Right.
It's about pushing boundaries, inspiring excellence.
Yeah.
You know, imagine a coach rallying their team or even pushing yourself to achieve a personal best.
Right. It's that nudge to go from good to great.
Exactly.
But it does require, I think, a strong relationship to land well.
Definitely, for sure. You can't just use that with anybody.
Right. Now, one thing I appreciated is that Sobel and Panas, they don't just throw out, like, random questions.
Right.
They emphasize being authentic,
Yeah.
avoiding those tired old cliches.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, they call out
Those ones.
what keeps you up at night.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's so overused, it loses all impact.
Mm.
Instead, tailor your questions, showing that you've actually, done your homework.
Right.
And that you genuinely care.
It's the difference between a mass-produced greeting card
Yes.
and a handwritten note.
100%.
It shows that you're truly present in that conversation.
Yes.
And they even suggest rethinking those well-intentioned but bland questions we ask loved ones.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So instead of the autopilot, how's your day?
Right. Which we all do, yeah.
Try something like, what made you smile today? Or
Mm.
what was the highlight?
I love that.
It just focuses on the positive.
Yeah.
It encourages them to share those small joys.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so simple, yet it completely changes the energy of the conversation.
It does. Yeah, it really does.
And reminds us that, being more mindful in our questions can lead to much richer connections,
Yeah.
no matter who we're talking to. Now, one of the recurring themes in the book is this power of dreams, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Both personal and professional.
Absolutely, yeah. They dedicate a whole chapter to it.
They do.
Yeah. In our go, go, go world, it's easy to lose sight of those big aspirations.
Totally.
Yeah.
So how do we reconnect with them?
Well,
By asking the right questions.
there you go.
Of course.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's as simple as, what are your dreams?
Yeah.
It seems almost too easy, yet it can be so powerful.
It really is. It reignites that spark,
Yeah.
that sense of possibility. And it can even inspire action. I remember asking a friend this,
Okay.
and it led to them finally pursuing this passion project they'd been putting off for years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Like giving them permission to dream again,
exactly.
to believe in those aspirations. And sometimes, those dreams are tied to lessons learned, right?
Yes.
To talk about the power of asking, what have you learned?
Yes. It reframes setbacks as opportunities for growth.
Yeah.
Instead of dwelling on the failure, which, we're all conditioned to do,
Yeah, totally.
you extract valuable insights instead,
Right.
It's
It's turning those stumbling blocks into stepping stones.
There you go. That's great.
It's a powerful shift in perspective.
For sure.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that saying, every mistake is a lesson learned.
Yeah.
It's not about dwelling on the negative, but rather using it as fuel for growth. Now, sometimes those aha moments come from taking a step back and really examining our current reality.
Oh, for sure.
So Bell and Panas talk about this in a professional context with the question, if you were to step back and look at your job, what is it that you really do?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right.
Yeah. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day that we forget to ask ourselves, like, are we truly fulfilled, you know? And that question prompts you to, identify your core contributions, passions, maybe even uncover areas for greater impact.
It's like holding up a mirror to your career and asking, is this truly aligned with who I am and what I want to achieve?
Exactly, yeah.
And that kind of introspection can be incredibly powerful, both personally and professionally.
Oh, yeah.
Now, speaking of powerful questions,
yeah,
the book doesn't shy away from the big existential ones either, right?
Absolutely not. No, they delve right into those thought-provoking questions that spark, deeper conversations about life, purpose, and everything in between.
Like those late-night conversations that leave you feeling like you've peeled back a layer of yourself and the other person?
Yes, exactly.
So what are some examples that stood out to you?
Well, what was the most difficult question you have ever been asked? That's a doozy.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
No.
It invites vulnerability and reflection. It reveals a lot about, someone's experiences and how they've navigated challenges.
It's like a window into their inner world,
Yeah.
their values and what shaped them.
For sure.
And on the flip side, they also suggest asking, what has been the happiest day of your life?
Oh, I love that one.
It's about to bring a smile to someone's face.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful way to, tap into those joyful memories and celebrate life's simple pleasures.
Right.
Plus, it reminds us, what truly matters amidst all the hustle and bustle.
Right. Yeah.
And speaking of which, in our very self-centered world, simply asking, can you tell me about your plans, can be surprisingly powerful.
It's refreshing, right?
It is.
It shows genuine interest in the other person's life instead of making it all about you.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a subtle but important shift that can make all the difference in building, stronger connections.
Yeah.
Because it demonstrates that you value their time, their perspective, their dreams, all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And when conflicts arise,
which they always do.
Which they inevitably do.
Yeah.
If the circumstances were turned around, how would you like to be treated?
Oh, that's great.
That can be a game changer.
It can. Right. It's the golden rule in action.
Yes.
It encourages empathy and helps us, approach challenging situations with fairness and understanding.
It's a powerful reminder to step outside of our own perspective and truly try to see things from the other person's point of view.
100%, yeah.
Now, before we wrap up, there's one last power question that I found incredibly impactful. They suggest asking, what is the greatest achievement in your life?
Oh, I like that one.
Right.
Yeah.
It's such a simple question, but it carries so much weight.
It does. It allows people to, reflect on their accomplishments, big or small.
Right.
And share what brings them a sense of, pride and fulfillment.
It's about celebrating those wins.
Yes.
Those moments where we truly felt like we were living our best lives.
Exactly.
And it also provides valuable insights into someone's values and what they deem worthy of recognition.
It does, yeah. It's a beautiful way to, end a conversation, leaving a lasting impression of positivity and inspiration.
Absolutely. Now, throughout this deep dive, one of the most important takeaways for me has been this importance of cutting through the noise.
Yeah.
And focusing on what truly matters.
Right.
And Sobel and Panas offer a simple yet effective question to do just that. Yeah. They suggest asking, what is the most important thing we should be discussing?
Oh, I like that.
Right.
Yeah, because it's so easy to get sidetracked.
Oh, my gosh. Especially in this day and age.
Especially in this age of constant distractions.
Yeah.
That question helps to recenter the conversation and ensure that you're addressing, the most pressing issues.
Yes. It's about being intentional with our time and our energy, both for ourselves and for those that we're engaging with.
Right.
And it ties back to the very essence of asking powerful questions.
Yes.
Right. To gain clarity, spark deeper understanding, and ultimately live more meaningful lives.
And sometimes finding that meaning starts with, appreciating the little things. They encourage asking yourself, what made this day more special than any other?
It's like a daily gratitude practice.
It is, yeah.
It shifts our focus to the positive.
Yes.
And reminds us to savor those small moments of joy that we often overlook.
Exactly. It's about training ourselves to see the extraordinary in the ordinary.
Yes.
Because ultimately, those seemingly insignificant moments are what weave together the tapestry of our lives.
They really are. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm struck by Sobel and Panas' final provocation.
Okay.
If you knew you had only 3 years to live, what would you hope to achieve, personally and professionally?
Wow.
It's a powerful question.
It is.
That forces us to confront our mortality.
Yes.
And examine our priorities.
Yeah.
It encourages us to live with intention, pursue our passions, and make the most of every precious moment.
It's a reminder that life is short.
Yes.
And we shouldn't wait for some, arbitrary point in the future to start living our dreams.
Exactly. The time is now.
That's it, yeah.
Well said. So, as we go about our day-to-day, let's challenge ourselves to be more mindful of the questions we ask. Let's move beyond the superficial and delve into those inquiries that spark curiosity, inspire reflection, and unlock deeper meaning in our interactions. Because the right question, asked at the right moment, has the power to transform not only our conversations, but also our lives.